I do want to touch on birth control or the contraceptive pill because I think it's absolutely essential that every woman has all the information about what happens to their body and their brain when they're on birth control. The first thing to know is that you are not having a cycle, right? Your bleed is not a real period and you are not ovulating. Now, what that's doing is disconnecting you from your intuition and your authentic self because the pill makes you behave like someone else. It literally changes your brain chemistry. Welcome back to Reconditioned with me, Lauren Vaknine. I am so glad you're here with me. And you probably clicked on this episode in particular because you're interested in living and working according to your feminine cycle. So I'm excited for you to get into this because honestly, I believe that there is nothing more integral you can do for yourself as a woman than to utilize and cultivate this divine feminine gift of your cycle. It's probably obvious by this podcast that I am so passionate about helping people to heal, but I'm also really passionate about helping women to step into their purpose and their power and make money and do amazing things in business, which is why I created the Female Entrepreneur Academy. And one of the modules on the Female Entrepreneur Academy teaches women how to run their business according to their feminine cycle. It's an entire module dedicated to this because our cycle impacts every area of our lives, including our businesses and how we work. So I thought I'd share a bit of what I teach on that module here to help you run your business or manage your work and your life according to your cycle. And by the way, this will be relevant to you even if you don't run a business. Of course, if you want to take it further and not just cycle awareness, but you want to get all the energetic and practical tools you need to run a successful, profitable business as a busy woman with other commitments, go to laurenvaknine.co.uk/FEA and enroll on the Female Entrepreneur Academy. It's not like the Recondition Your Life Academy, which only opens twice a year. This you can purchase now. It's an online self-paced course, so there's no rush. You don't need to show up to anything live. And it is extremely affordable at $395. And it even has payment plan options. So I did all that so that women have the access to this and can have all the tools that they need to create a more profitable business. So head over to the website or the show notes here and check it out. And if you're serious about getting more clients and making more money in your business, make sure to enroll. Why not? What's your excuse? If you've been here a while, you'll know that I believe that we should get whatever we can in the way of nutrition through food. And where we can't get it through food, that's where we supplement. Now, in order to get myself from disabled to completely able-bodied, I had to be really specific and well-researched when it came to supplements, which is why I've been using AMRITA Nutrition for the past decade, more than decade actually, to buy pretty much 95% of the supplements I take and recommend. Now, AMRITA stock the highest quality brands using the highest quality non-synthetic ingredients. Most of these brands couldn't even be bought in the UK when I started taking them years ago, so AMRITA have made it super easy and accessible. And the other great thing about AMRITA is they offer personal support. So if you're not sure of which supplement to order, you can call them and they'll advise you. Now, they're usually a practitioner-only stockist, but you can buy supplements from AMRITA now using practitioner invite code Lauren, which will get you 10% off all supplements. And once you set up an account, that 10% will be applied to every order. I've gone ahead and created a collection of all my favorite supplements with AMRITA to help you out with it, which you can find in the show notes or on my website by typing in AMRITA. Otherwise, just visit amritanutrition.co.uk and use code Lauren for 10% off. Thank you so much to AMRITA for continuing to support our mission here at Reconditioned. Okay, so understanding your cycle and how it impacts every part of your life is pretty essential if you want to live an optimized life. Why is that? Well, your cycle operates on a 4-weekly basis, and each week during that 4-week cycle, things change. So men don't have this, which is why it's really hard for them sometimes to understand why we feel differently both physically and emotionally, at different times during the month. And I like to refer to each of those 4 weeks as a season. So just like we have the 4 seasons of the year, and during those seasons, you'll experience different moods and feelings, and you'll even look different. So living according to your cycle as opposed to fighting it, which is what most women do and what we've been taught to do, and seeing those different parts of your cycle as different seasons and working with them will really help you. Now, just to preface before I continue that, of course, every woman is different, and this also needs to be an intuitive process. The whole point of having this practice, and it is another practice in your wellness toolkit, is to help us as women connect even more deeply to our feminine cycle, which gives us deeper access back to our intuition and how to read and listen to our body, which makes us healthier. And if you're no longer menstruating, remember that your body still operates according to the moon. You're still a cyclical being. So do try to live by that. And the first and most important thing I'd recommend you do, if you don't already, so here's where we start, is to chart your cycle. Now you can do this in a journal or in a good app. I like Natural Cycles or Flow Living. And you can log your temperature each morning so that it gathers the algorithm to tell you when you're fertile. So you can also use the app to help with birth control as well as charting your cycle generally for your moods and stuff. And while we're on this subject, before we continue, I do want to touch on birth control or the contraceptive pill, because I think it's absolutely essential that every woman has all the information about what happens to their body and their brain when they're on birth control. The first thing to know is that you are not having a cycle, right? Your bleed is not a real period and you are not ovulating. Now, what that's doing is disconnecting you from your intuition and your authentic self, because the pill makes you behave like someone else. It literally changes your brain chemistry. And of course, it's going to be really hard to work according to your cycle when you're on the pill, because it's changing your hormones to force you to behave like someone else entirely. When you can't live according to your cycle, you'll find it really hard to know how you feel and why, and how to plan days around your cycle, and how to know yourself and your intuition. Your cycle is literally the most important factor when it comes to you as a woman, and honoring that is essential if you want to live an optimized life and run an optimized business as well. And the other thing that the pill is doing, it's actively depleting you of key micronutrients that your endocrine system needs to make healthy hormone balance. And it puts you into a massive deficit micronutrient-wise, so you can't be healthy or live a fully optimized life when you're on it. And that's all there is to it. And I understand that it might be frustrating for you to hear, and you might be thinking, well, I was put on it because of pains or PCOS or acne or whatever. But what I'd ask you is this, because that was the same for me. I was put on the pill at 14. What else did you try before choosing the pill as the answer? There are many ways to heal even endometriosis with a dedication to a holistic approach. Nutrition, homeopathy, herbs, lifestyle, they all play a huge part. And something to note is that usually we suffer with our periods because we're disconnected from our feminine selves, which disconnects us from our abilities, our relationships, and our bodies, not to mention the secondary conditions for us and any babies we might have later on. And it also calcifies the pineal gland, which takes us further away from self and truth. So please take all this into account with no judgment as we move forward. Okay, so before I speak about how to live according to each cycle, let's touch on how to manage cycle symptoms. Firstly, you should know that PMS isn't normal. We have normalized it. We've even made it into some sort of humorous joke, but it is not normal. PMS is your body's way of telling you which nutrients you're missing, and it's actually pretty simple to remedy if you're up for living an optimized life. So if you do get bad PMS or cramps or other symptoms, there are some ways to naturally remedy this. So if you get period pains or cramps, you're probably not getting enough omega-3 essential fatty acids. So add healthy fats to your diet and some good quality fish oil supplements. If you have mood swings and energy issues, you're probably missing essential B vitamins and magnesium. And if you're bloated, you're probably estrogen dominant and need more antioxidants to clear excess estrogen, and probiotics to support your gut microbiome and magnesium as well, like I mentioned before, because without enough magnesium, we just don't operate at full capacity. Everything I'm mentioning here, as usual, all my recommendations for all supplements are on my website with discount codes. You can get to it through the show notes. Or laurenvaknine.co.uk if you want to go to it straight from there. So I mentioned before about how we have this 4-week cycle that men don't have and how it's really hard for them to understand why our moods change so much. So this 28-day cycle has a name. It is called the infradian rhythm, and it creates a, wait for it, 25% change in brain chemistry throughout the month. So where men's hormones do not change much day to day, they're just linear like that, ours really do. It's up and down and up and down. And this is where understanding your hormones helps you understand yourself. And I also think it's absolutely essential to teach anyone else in your house, including your partner and your children, about the changes happening in your body throughout the course of the month. And teach them how to honor each phase with you. If everyone really understood that while their brain chemistry isn't changing much, and as of course you have teenagers whose brain chemistries are changing a lot, yours is changing up to 25% at different points in the month. And this knowledge alone should help stop any jokes or misunderstandings coming your way. So teaching everyone in your family about all of this is an incredible way to start. Fun fact, humans take in more information in one day now than they did in their entire lives in the 1700s. No wonder we're overwhelmed. Our brains and bodies simply haven't evolved to manage this level of stress. And until that evolution happens, if we want to be well in mind and body, we need things that help alleviate this stress. For me, one of the key tools in my daily wellness toolkit that does this is the SENSATE. And if you've been here a while, you'll know how genuinely obsessed I am with this product. It is a piece of health tech that fits in the palm of your hand, and it basically sends infrasonic waves through the chest to activate the vagus nerve and calm the autonomic nervous system while you listen to the specially composed audio within the app. I usually use the SENSATE for 10 to 20 minutes before I sleep to reduce cortisol levels, calm my brainwave states from the hectic day, and send me into a deep sleep. Clients or friends of mine who have a SENSATE have told me that their sleep has never been so good. People who usually struggle with sleep just wake up in the same position they went to sleep in. Everyone needs a SENSATE, in my opinion, and I particularly recommend it to anyone who suffers from overwhelm or anxiety, and anyone who wants to deepen their meditation practice. And you can get £30 off the SENSATE by visiting getsensate.com and using code Lauren30. That's GETSENSATE.com, Lauren30. Thank you so much to SENSATE for supporting our mission here at Reconditioned. Okay, so let's go through the 4 phases. So the first week of your cycle is the menstrual phase, and it usually lasts about 3 to 6 days. This is the part of your cycle where you bleed. It's really not a time for action or sexual drive if that doesn't feel natural at that moment. Nature's just intending for you to retreat, to slow down. It's your winter, your inner winter. So hibernate, honor your body, slow down. Listen to your body's inner wisdom and follow its cues in terms of slowness, warmth, comforting foods and drinks, and how much you work. In terms of work, try to plan the first few days of your period as days where you don't have lots of meetings, where you don't record content, and where you aren't needing to run around too much in terms of lifestyle. And for the first 2 to 3 days of my period, here are some things I don't do to inspire you. So I don't drink caffeine because I know my body's trying to slow down. So intuitively, it just doesn't feel right to speed it up. I also stay away from saunas. And for those first 2 days, I avoid my cold showers, which I do at all other parts of the month because my body is hotter for a reason. So I feel like changing the temperature too much is going against what nature needs to do at this time. I also avoid heavy exercise and I stick to yoga, Pilates, and walking. And if you're there thinking, I can't possibly stop and not be in my workout routine, just know that HIIT workouts during our period actually make you turn on fat storage and increase muscle wasting. while your body's trying to protect you from being depleted of anything, because your body is that clever. So the follicular phase is the next season, and it is the time between the end of your period and ovulation. It lasts about 5 days. This is your spring, your rebirth. You're coming to life again. Your body might still feel a little bit fatigued, but your brain is sharpest here. So make the most of this time for things like brainstorming, planning, connecting and networking, and moving out of your comfort zone. You've just been through a hibernation, and as a result, your body has detoxed and your cells have rejuvenated. It is a rebirth. Your body will be releasing also high levels of estrogen, which is why this is the optimal time to do weight training, to build muscle and to eat more carbs, healthy carbs, I should say, than you can eat at other points in the month. And yes, we should be eating carbs. And this is the point in the month where you'll look and feel your best. So take advantage of that. Then we've got the ovulation phase, which is the day you ovulate plus the 2 days before and the 2 days after. There'll be a huge surge in LH hormone, which is the dominant hormone that allows the egg to be released. You'll have more confidence during this phase than pretty much any other phase in the month. So take advantage of this by using this as a time where you batch video contents, do talks, host webinars, or do whatever else you need to do to get visible. This is your moment to get visible. Schedule it correctly. And of course, it's the time you'll be feeling the most fruity and sexual, because nature is trying to do all it can to help you procreate, and that's why we're more turned on during this time. So take advantage of that, because the more pleasure a woman experiences, the more nitric oxide she releases and the more magnetic she becomes. That means to people and money. And ladies, this is why your cycle is so deeply connected with your abundance. So then the last phase of your cycle is the luteal phase, and it's the longest phase at the end of your cycle where hormones start to decline. It lasts from 10 to 14 days. Creative juices flow in the second half of this phase, so it's really a great opportunity to kind of eke out final details of anything left to be done before moving back into your hibernation season. It's a time for minor details. If you're building a new course or program or business, you'll feel most in the place to work on something like that during your luteal phase, coming out of kind of all that being visible during ovulation. And take note that this is the time that you'll experience the most mood swings and cravings. So just be aware of that and work according to what's happening. So those are the phases of your menstrual cycle. And honestly, for me, working with my cycle instead of ignoring it or trying to fight it and just kind of fit into the man's world, it's been invaluable for me in business, because I don't try to do certain things when I don't have the bandwidth for them and then wonder why I can't and feel like I'm failing and then get angry and moody with myself and take that out on everyone else. If I'm on my period, I take a step back and give myself the goddamn permission to do that. And I encourage my team to work with their cycles too. It's about knowing all this information to understand what your body is doing, to give yourself the education on that, and then to encourage you to keep coming back to your body and keep asking what it needs at each stage and honor that. Does your body need air, rest, fun, connection, nourishment? Give your beautiful feminine body what it needs and continue charting your cycle, so that you start seeing consistencies on specific days during the month so you can prepare for them, and also educate people around you, your partner, your children, whoever, about your seasons, and specifically in your luteal and menstruation phases, to let them know that's where you are and you need extra support and you need them to understand where you are. Honestly, honoring your feminine cycle will help you optimize your life in so many ways. It is self-care, and you can't run a business, not a successful one anyway, in my opinion, without looking after yourself. If you can't look after yourself, your mind, your body, your spirit, you'll deplete yourself of everything and your business won't work. Physically, you won't be able to run it. And energetically, you'll not be magnetic to clients and money. As a woman especially, you need to look after yourself and honor your needs. Right? Look after yourself. Eat well. Live according to your cycle and get enough sleep. That's really all you need to do to live an optimized life. So I'd like to invite you now to spend time putting in place a self-care practice, things you can do daily or weekly to make sure that self-care according to your cycle is a priority. And of course, as I said, go to laurenvakneen.co.uk/FEA if you're serious about taking your business to the next level, because this course is everything you could ever need. You literally never need another course or program again for your business. It's all in there. The energetic side of wealth and manifestation, and the practical tools, time management systems, processes, getting visible, social media marketing, everything you need. Literally all of it for $395. What? Crazy, cray. So go do that now. Thank you so much for being here, showing up for your growth. And remember to leave me a little review if you enjoy these episodes. And I will see you on the next one. And as usual, I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Reconditioned. I am honestly so grateful to each and every person that tunes in. Thank you also for taking responsibility for your own well-being. You should know that just by choosing to listen to podcasts like this that further your well-being, you're moving more deeply into abundance consciousness. Now, don't forget, I have a bunch of free resources over at laurenvakneen.co.uk, as well as every recommendation you could ever need in regards to your well-being on the LV Recommends page, all categorized for your ease. Thank you also to our sponsors. These episodes would not be possible without them, so make sure to check them out and get some pretty awesome discounts on the show notes. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so that you can get updated each time a new one is released. Thank you. I appreciate you.